If you're still spending more than 10 minutes creating proposals, this one is for you. Or we're gonna build a system where all we need is a client, a problem, an outcome, and we'll be able to create beautiful, stunning proposals like this and like this in under a minute. Let's check it out. We have a quick demo here about everything I've built, right? So the way I built it is we have a client field over here where we have all our clients. And then down here, we'd have a list of proposals. Now, each client has their own proposal, as we'd see if this thing would just load. There we go. In here. Now, we can see that the proposals we created are right here. Stunning, beautiful, visual, really great. Better than a lot of just text-based proposals that you just read and are boring and not branded at all. So, and this took under a minute to make, which is just crazy. How do we get started on creating these proposals? Now, the first thing is you'd obviously need a client to create the proposal for. So we just want to click create new client here. And you just want to have, let me just put my own details. So you can clearly see how it works. And then we have a company name and then client email and website. So we have that website and then we press submit. Now what happens is it then sends the data to an in workflow over here, where that side, it triggers this trigger, which would then scrape the URL to get the contents of my website, code it in through here to organize it all into one, and then finally just update my record. Now, when we come back to the home page, we'll be able to then see I'm a new client over here with my company. We come back to the executions. Did it execute? And we see it's currently running. And what this is doing is it's creating the company info right here, just so that you have up-to-date information on the client you're creating it for. As you can see here, it provided everything we need to know about the client over here for creating presentations and just that. And boom, as we can see here, we have information about that website. So provides AI-powered client intake software for businesses and pre-qualifies leads, books, presentations. We have all the information about this client. We go into that to get into their own specific dashboard. We have all the information on them here, nicely put together. Okay, so then now say you want to create a new proposal, we just click the create new proposal button. And from there, we have another form to fill in, which is quite simple. You just pick your client among all the clients you have here. I like to keep it human in the loop, right? A lot of people, what happens is they take the meeting transcript and then they make an AI and make a proposal of that. Now, it can work out, but I find that the path to least error is if you have someone just put all of this information in themselves. And that way, we have less of an error in the workflow or around the output or any further discrepancies in the output. So in terms of the offer, say now the business makes an offer in terms of they do agents pay per appointment basis. And so they do, let's say they are charging around 200 for a booked appointment and then 5 appointments free for try. So the problem is the ads not getting worked on and they are taking too long to respond, which then causes the lead to move to a forward. Therefore, we said
Mouse.
Or what else can I say for a problem? Funny enough,
I'm thinking on
the website, they have a form
let me just say on one edify.
website. They have a form, but it takes them a couple hours to respond.
Row.
Cool. Now, outcome is we aim to speed to meme in under a minute. All these booked on calendar billing, booked on calendar within
A minute. And then what else can we say is conversion rate
increased. Now, price would be 200. I said 200. We just added this one per booked appointment, but that is 200. Any additional information you want to put in, such as we use read sound
and then to connect
to your current software limiting challenge
or additional training.
Yes, yes. On your employees. Okay, so we have Brian issued the phone in, but now we've got the worst part. So it's going to take all of this information and then it's going to add it into the database, which I will show you soon. And then this is now going to come to this part of the workflow over here. And now this is now going to start where it's going to take the data, bend the trigger, create the proposal text, and then create the proposal. Update the record to show that the proposal is being created, and then wait a couple seconds for the proposal to actually finish, get the proposal, and then finally update the record. I'll come back to you when it's done. Now, if I move back to our dashboard, we'll currently see here that it is creating that new proposal. It is just pending. In other words, it's being created. Okay. So now we're just going to wait for that. You can see here it's already connected to this client. So we can be assured that now we just need to wait. It's a waiting game now.
And it's done. And we have completed it.
Now it is done. As you can see here, the workflow has been completed. If we come to our client's page, we can see down here, we can still create more proposals, and then we can see it's been a success. And then let's check out the link, a voice agent solution, accelerating lead conversion. So this document, the paper model. Okay, so now if we check it out, we can see, understand the current challenge. To currently experiencing critical business challenge, lead generation to everything and not being converted. This is nice. This is real nice. And we can see the core issue lies in the time gap between when a lead submits their form and when they're actually booked for an appointment. This delay directly correlates to reduced conversion rates and lost repair opportunities. Now we can currently see here we have this really nice diagram that make the point across, showing form submitted, hours until contact. With a voice agent, you have immediately call contact and then booking under 1 minute. Now we have the voice agent solution where it shows we have a sub-minute response, direct calendar booking, and seamless integration.
And then we can currently see here the
Technologies, implementation timeline. Man, this is really good. For a simple form that I just filled in. Week 1, initial setup. Week 2, trial period. Week 4 to 6 for documentation. And then obviously you get timings in your prompt as well, in that notes section especially. That's why we put that in. So expected outcomes and benefits. Now we can see here response time in minutes before voice agent was high. After, we can see it's so small we can barely see it. Lead contact rate, boom. Booking rate, boom. Key benefits, dramatically reduced response time, increased higher conversions, improved return on advertising investment, reduce that. Now, you see here for the investment structure, 200 per booked appointment, 5 trial appointments, 0 integration cost. This performance-based pricing aligns our success, and yours. We only generate revenue when we successfully book appointments, creating a true partnership approach to improving your lead conversion process. Now, obviously, we have our metrics and then a couple integrations with your current systems. Now, I don't know about you, but this is really good. Initial consultation call, agreement signing, technical integration, and launch. Ready to stop losing leads to slow response time. Schedule your 15-minute consultation today to begin and see your first leads convert to appointments in under a minute. And that kind of speaks for itself, don't you think? That this is a really good proposal. So let me show you how to build it, Mon Mike. Okay, so if you currently wait here, we will see that let's just go to the editor. So get company info. So for get company info, this will check newly created clients in the database. From there, it crawls through their website to get current accurate company data, takes the markdown from the crawl and structures it and adds it to the database. So now obviously here, all right. So as you can see in the database, we do have a user section, a clients section, a clients table, and a proposals table. We don't want anything too complicated, right? And we can clearly see in the clients table, we can clearly see all the clients we've created now come into this table, and all the proposals we create then also come into this table, so that we have all the information. As you can see, their first proposal created 15 hours ago, that one 9 minutes ago. So that allows us, this is what also powers the front end, which I'll explain in a bit as well. So as soon as a client is created in this table, it would then alert this node, which would then trigger every time a client is created in the client's table let me just fetch test data so you can clearly see that as well. And then you see here clearly, it fetches all the data about that client. And then from there, we would use Firecrawl, which is a scraper, to scrape the website to get all the company information and data back, and show you how to use Firecrawl real quickly. So we go to Firecrawl, and it's really simple, and they have a really good free trial. So used for turning websites into LLM ready data to power your apps with clean data crawl from any website. So yeah, there we go. So as soon as you come into Firecrawl, this is what you're gonna see, right? And as soon as you get here, you just see your API key. You want to copy that, come back here, and then you'll have to create a credential. There we go. Now that's simple enough to do. Just that will be there. Just copy and paste the API key over here, and you'll be good to go. Then you can start using it. See, simple. And then from there, what you want to do is you want to take the website, put it in the URL. Don't change anything else, and then just execute. What this is gonna do is it's gonna scrape all the data in that website and provide us with this markdown. As you can see here, it provides us, and then we can't use it in this form. So what I do is I use an AI. I use Grok 4 specifically, and then I put it into this prompt base right here, which is simply you will receive scraped markdown from a company website, clean it per system roles, and produce the JSON response. Markdown, we then give it the markdown, and then we give it a few notes of roles to follow by, right? And now we come here, and this is where things get a little tidy, right? This is where we have our systems message, which tells the system how it should then behave. Now we show it, you are an analyzer for scraped websites, goals, convert messy markdown from a company site into concise, factual company info, blah, suitable for a CRM field. This is where we get that company info part within the client in the front end. We create it here, it scrapes, gets all the information, it gives it to us. So as you can see there, we would then get the input, and then obviously it would then update database, and then it will show up in the app. Simple enough. That's a simple formula. Get company client information for the type of client you want to work with. Now, after that, this is where things start getting interesting. Let me just show it to you in this way, right? Just so you can see it yourself. So what happens here is we have our form filling again, but this time we're watching the proposals table. So as soon as that proposal was created, it got sent and took all that response data and filled the table, filled the database table in. As soon as that table was filled in, we were notified. We would then take it all to then come in here to create all of this data. You see, it's really simple. So it just formats everything into proposal level data just for the API we're going to run in a minute. And then we take it all. It's really simple. It's a simple user prompt. Use the inputs below to generate the proposal for your system rules. And then we put all the JSON in. And then as we can see here for the system rules, again, we have your proposal writer that turns short form inputs into a persuasive proposal. Now the objectives will be to communicate paid, promise, plan, proof, pricing steps. Simple. I haven't seen a proposal that has followed that formula. And then from there, we maximize clarity and perceived likelihood of success, minimize time to first win, and then we have a few hard rules for it to follow. We just use only the provided inputs. This is going to reduce hallucination. That is something we really need to make sure doesn't happen. Do not invent facts or metrics. Second, tone, professional, concise, confident, no hype words. That feels like spam. So there is structure with these H2 sections, executive summary, problem will solve, and etc., etc. So as you can see here, it then builds it out properly for us. Problem will solve, your ads are general needs, but the current problem was insufficient. As you can see there, okay. And then from there, this is where we then call the API list response presentation. And it's a platform called Gamma. So what Gamma is, it's an AI presentation maker, one of the best in the industry currently. And so how Gamma works is you create Gammas, which is basically presentations. And then all you need to do is you need to input text, which generates a Gamma. So just text of what you want to be in there. And then you take that text, format it nicely for you, depending on how you want it, and then give you a beautiful presentation, right? So obviously to use this, you're gonna need a Gamma account. So as soon as you sign up to Gamma.app, I suggest to use this API, you are gonna need a pro account. So that's a fair bit of a warning. You can't use it on their free trial. You will need a pro, currently because it is in beta, you are gonna need a pro account to use the API. I can't say for sure if by the time you see this video, if it's still the same, but currently when I release this video, you will need a pro account. So as soon as you get your pro account, you're gonna get sent to a homepage. By then it will be empty. What you want to do is you're gonna want to create your themes, right? So first things first, you're gonna want to create your themes. Now what a theme is, it's how the presentation of the Miami creates it. My theme is simple enough. It is just head green, white, a little bit of a gray and beige. I'll prefer it like this. That's why you saw the presentations being created in this kind of color. Now, it will use your default theme when you use the API. That's what I'm suggesting. The first thing you do after creating the pro account is to first create your theme. Now, you can create it however you want, but keep in mind, and kind of make it branded as well. And yeah, after creating your theme, you're gonna wanna just hit your workspace, go to settings and members. Now, when you go to settings and members, you're gonna see a little spot up here saying API keys. Creating your API key, name the API key, and then it's gonna give you this sequence of numbers. Now, obviously, it's gonna be longer than this. Mine is hidden for security purpose. Now, after that, you want to come their API reference. Now, I prefer to do it in here because it's much easier. So in here, all you want to do, you have all the fields necessary to create it. The input text, this is required. This is going to be what the previous node is going to give the JSON. So in here, I just like to put dummy, just so we have their field that pops up, and then we can genuinely just add our own. So we have dummy in there, and then we have export as.
Otherwise, it's just gonna pop up in our Gamma dashboard.
And we want to have a link to it so that it pops up in the app, and then we can send that link to the client as well. Or we can download it and then send it, whichever way you feel comfortable with, honestly. So after that, you do have a few number fields. You can create different cards, which is add more pages. You can add additional instructions. You can change your, because you're gonna want your proposals to be a document. After that, you genuinely just done, and then import your API key over here. And then, as you can see here, everything is sold in properly. We'll then just copy this, come back here, you press import curl, paste that in, and then you're good to go. And then after that, make sure that on the num cards, remove the quotations. Otherwise, it's going to keep providing you with an error. So after the num cards, remove the quotation in your output in the previous node. Watch for the quotes here. If there is already a quote, remove the quotes. You don't want to put double quotes. It's just going to create an error. So after that, just put in that output from the previous node, and then you will get this generation IP. This doesn't mean it's started. It means the generation has started. Now, after that, you're going to want to update the record to show pending. This tells the front end and you as the user that the proposal is currently being created. It is currently pending. And then we're going to want to wait 5 seconds. Now, after that, this node over here serves as the get. So this will check on the status of the generation. Now, simple enough. So you just want to come down here, and then this is once you're successful, send a successful generation request. You can use it to poll the status of your request, and then the generation ID you saw from the previous node when it started, and then take that in, copy that, and then paste it in the code again. And then, as you can see here, I put in the generation ID from that HTTP node in here, and then it kept checking on the status. As you can see here by the number of times it checked, it's 14 times. And so from there we have an if node, which is quite a simple. If it is completed, if it says completed, update record. If it failed, or if it says pending, wait a few seconds again, then check the status again, and then it's until they say success, and then we update the record. So that's it, literally. And then after that, he just updates the database in the proposal field with the record ID, which we would then see as when this node completes, we'd see that it had provided us with an export URL of the PDF, which you then use over here. And that's what pops up in here. See? Simple. Now, after you've done all that, congratulations, you've just created your own proposal generator. You can now edit it how you like. You can now give it all information on account business as well. You can do all sorts of things. So now if you're wondering, how do I create the front end like this? How do I go out of my way to then creating a front end where I can view all of this? By the way, don't do this in the edit mode isn't right. That's why in here you'll see it's just the wire. In the edit mode, it's gonna show everything because there's no filter in the edit mode. So pages you'll see here have a filter. Client includes exactly client name so that it matches the client in here.
Now creating this
page isn't that hard. Let me just show you a page where I just have all the proposals as well, like the home page, right? And I want a list, and now we have a list. Simple enough, no? And then now we determine, okay, what data do we want to populate the list? We have our databases, the proposals, generate, and then we can choose whether we wanted to show the users, clients, or proposals. We wanted to show proposal, it will auto map the fields as is, and then you would then see it here, and then come in here and then choose what you wanted to show. Now, I wanted to show the client it's connected to, which is Adidas and Monetify. I wanted to show it was created at what time. I can just edit that later. I wanted to show how much it's worth. I wanted to show the proposal link as well. Yeah, that's it. I really just wanted to show those things. And then what I want you to do is you can then decide to add that in there, have that there, and then boom, that's it. Simple enough. And then you can remove the search bar. You can also just remove these filters easily. And then if you want to, again, add a record to proposals, you can add it there. And simple enough, you just created a new page, list page. See, really not that hard. It just takes you, I'm sure you can figure it out in 30 minutes. And then it will just dynamically populate itself as the database in the back end gets populated more and more. And that's just it. Software is really good for this stuff, I must say. Like, that's it for this video. I hope it has helped you. And I will leave a link to where you can get the template for the N8N workflows over here. So you don't have to go through the hassle like I did. And then if you want to, I also just started a free community where we build pure systems for profit. I will be putting all my templates, my lessons, everything I don't post on YouTube in this community. I just created it. So giving you time. But if you are looking into something like that, you can join in. Currently is only like 2 members, but we will populate as time goes on. So yeah, that's about it. And I hope you have a good one.